Hey all, Mark Slane with the United States Krav Maga Association. Today talking about Krav Maga black belts. In the United States Krav Maga Association, we probably have about 30 black belts, and we have, I believe, more female black belts than any other Krav organization that I've heard of. Kind of our take compared to others' takes on black belt, I guess. You know, a lot of organizations, they don't promote very many black belts. You know, and if you're going to go for a black belt in their organization, you pretty much got to be a male in your 20s, early 30s, and a stud athlete. You know, they're teaching things for the Israeli Defense Forces commandos, and by golly, if you're not on par with that, you're never going to be a black belt. You know, a lot of people in their organization taking classes, they pretty much take for granted that they can never attain a black belt. And, you know, again, if that's the slant they're teaching, I guess that's okay. To me, the United States Krav Maga Association, you know, we never claim to be teaching, you know, Amy's Krav Maga or IDF style Krav Maga. We're truly teaching an Americanized version of Krav Maga. To me, it's self-defense for the masses. You know, for that housewife or that doctor, or that mechanic, the average person. What we're teaching them is something to, hopefully, if a scumbag ever tries to harm them or their family, you know, we're giving them a fighting chance. It's self-defense that's easy to learn, easy to remember, comes out of us, doesn't rely on how big and strong we are. To me, we're you know, our job is to keep everyone safe. We are trying our darndest to teach what we just talked about, the easiest, most reliable, best working stuff we can come up with. So to me, a black belt is proficiency. You know, if somebody's got the time in it, you have to have a, you know, absolute minimum of 3 years in Krav Maga. If you've gone through, you know, levels 1 through 5, you're very proficient. You can transfer your knowledge as far as being able to teach others to be safe, and you're willing to go through the hell that is our testing, you'll get a black belt. You know, we're not just for you know, Olympic caliber athletes. We're not just for younger people. We are, you know, again, to me, a black belt isn't something magic. It means you're pretty proficient at the Krav Maga up to that point. And again, I don't begrudge if your slant it's tough stuff, Israeli Defense Forces. You got to be able to be thrown into a room with, you know, 10 knife wielding maniacs and come out of that room at the end. You know, if that's what you're teaching and that's what you want your black belts to be, you know, good for you. We are just not teaching that way. You know, we are a self-defense system for the masses that will keep everyone safe. Again, not to begrudge that, it's just that's kind of our take on it. Now, you know, I've heard some call, you know, our black belts are watered down. Compared to what? You know, Special Forces soldiers? I guess, okay, I'm watered down black belt. It just kills me. Again, it's not anything special. It is proficiency. You can teach the stuff. And again, our testing isn't easy. You know, I'm testing a group or training a group for black belt right now. We're to level 4 and I've lost about a third of them already. The last group, we had 29 start the training and only 8 tests for black belt. So it's truly something you have to put your heart and soul into. You got to want. You got to be willing to get in the best shape of your life. You got to be able to work very, very hard. So again, it's not like we're doing easy stuff. It's certainly, you know, our black belt test is 6.5 hours of beating. You know, there are a few people in the world that could do that. There are a few people in the world that would want to do that. So again, you're pretty tough when you're a USKMA black belt. You know, you just don't have to be, you know, a Special Forces commando. Now, as we get above black belt, you know, I even have a different slant on that. The first degree black belt test, you know, is a beating. You prove how tough you are. If my second degree test was going to be even harder, and the third degree test even harder, you can see what we're doing. My group of second degree black belts, the first ones I put through, you know, we were kind of debating how we're going to do this. Finally, I noticed that most of the ones who really deserved to test for a second degree, they weren't going to. Because if it was going to be a physical test, these guys are older now. They're 40s and 50s. They've got injuries from Krav. They've got jobs. They realized, yeah, I can't put myself through that. Take a chance of, you know, whatever. An injury that's going to put me out of work for a month or two. Now, are they sissies? Well, heck no. They're the toughest people I know. You know, I've got second-degree black belts, Matt Kissel and John Burton, Jason Holt, Scott Howard, Brandon Hicks, John Levins. I've got a fantastic group. They are hardworking. They are very good teachers. They're awesome instructors. They made a lot of people safe. But the fact that the ones who deserved it the most, who were in Krav a long time, who have done the most for the USKMA, oh, they can't test because I want to have a harder test than the first degree was. They've proven themselves. You know, and I lost a good instructor over this. he thought, no, the second degree test should be even harder. Of course, he was also 22 years old. He doesn't quite get it. He didn't understand. Now, our curriculum, they've had to have taught for so long. They've had to have been a black belt for so long. They've had to have done, things to make the system better. They've had to have done so much charity work, teaching free seminars and that sort of thing. I mean, we certainly have a curriculum, and it's about a 7 or 8 hour teaching test. But to put them guys through heck again, that's almost an ego thing. Again, other organizations, they test 1 or 2 a year for black belt. You've got to be a stud muffin. Again, to us, I just don't see that. To me, black belt is proficiency. You can teach the stuff. You've been willing to put the work in. So, I hope, we stay that way. I think I heard it was a BJJ master. In the years and years and years he's been teaching, he's promoted, it was either 0 black belts or 1. A lot of this comes down to me, it looks like an ego thing. I'm going to be so super exclusive, I guess, to make me look better. Look how tough I am. That just slays me. If you're a good instructor, you should certainly, in 10 or 15 years, have been able to get people to test for black belt. It's kind of on you as an instructor, and maybe a little bit of an ego thing, I guess, is how I look at it. But anyhow, I'm sure some of you won't agree with this, but I hope I've given you something to think about. And it's Mark Sling, United States Krav Maga Association.